Well, welcome to the Spokane County Assessor's office, and we're here with Tom Konis, the assessor, and his great team. We're going to talk about some things coming up really soon, and that happens to be the assessments are going out, aren't they?
They are.
They are.
They are.
Why are you smiling?
This is my chance at sending everybody a Christmas card every year. So yes, on August 14th,
Right.
we're mailing out about a little over 214,000
Wow.
assessment notices.
Okay.
And those assessment notices will establish the value that your property taxes are going to be based on in 2021.
Okay, but based on,
January 1st of this past year is our lien date, so
Okay.
our appraisal date.
Okay.
Pre-COVID.
Okay.
We actually were supposed to send these out. We typically send these out at the end of May.
Okay,
We
right.
purposely held back this year, just trying to figure out the impact of the pandemic.
no kidding.
And truly, in April when we made that decision, we thought values were going to go in the toilet and things were going to get awful.
Okay.
And yet, the latest realtors information from the Spokane Board of Realtors that we got are saying that actually their sales this year are right in pace with where they were last year, and the values have actually gone up about 9 to 11%.
Yeah,
depending on where you are.
I'm hearing stories of people saying, yes, I got 30,000 more offered than I was asking for, and those kinds of things. Not to mention waiting and valuing it now based on what is coming and what's here. I mean, you think about the Spokane Association of Realtors who have said a 1,500% interest from people in Seattle to buying in Spokane. And that's only going to do one thing to the values of homes. It's going to go up. So the good news in all of this, as much as we'd love to get your postcards, Tom, and your predecessors,
Yes.
right, is that it's going to be based back in January
Right.
on the value of what it was then. And but I like the fact that you were holding off, because if prices went down, would you have been able to use that?
We would have been able to
Oh,
lower
okay,
them,
okay.
even though technically by
Technically.
law we shouldn't.
But no one's going to call and complain if you've lowered.
And it was really easily would have been justified
Yes.
given
Yes.
this historic occasion.
Yes.
I mean, this is not the norm.
No,
So
no.
we were just really trying to be cautious and see, but fortunately and unfortunately,
Yeah.
there is not going to be a reduction in values.
Yes, yes. What do you think the percentage will increase to?
We're looking about 9%.
Yeah, yeah.
On average,
Yeah.
countywide.
Yeah.
I mean, and so, you know,
There'll be certain
your
parts of-
neighborhood could vary
Oh,
depending
great.
on where you're at. Your house is gorgeous. So.
Yeah. Oh, he's already checked. Okay. So we always look forward to this event, usually in May or June, and it now will tell us what's going to happen, in a sense, to our taxes for next year.
It tells you what the value is.
Value is.
Unfortunately, we don't know from the taxing districts
Right.
what their budget requests are going to be until November, December.
Okay.
And so we can't really predict what the taxes will be.
No.
But historically, you can guess
Right.
for most of the taxing districts are limited to a 1% budget increase.
Okay.
So we kind of know that.
Yeah.
Last year we added $1 billion in new construction to the tax roll. This year we're forecasting still to add about $800 million in new
Wow.
construction
And
to
last
the
year
tax
was
roll.
because of
A
Amazon
lot
and
was
some
because
other.
of Amazon. There was $150 million worth was just Amazon alone.
Wow.
And we were kind of cautious earlier on in the year when the governor shut down any new
Yeah.
construction. We didn't know how much would be able to be finished far along, enough along to add. But
Yeah.
no, we're very happy to say. And, you know, Spokane is right now of the market. If you build it, they will come. And
Yes,
if we could
yes.
get more housing places for people to go, we would see that 1,500% increase from Seattle, probably increase even more from that.
Oh, wow.
There just aren't enough houses here in town. And that's what's driving the
Yeah.
values.
Yes.
It's just simple economics 101.
Yeah.
There is more more demand than there is supply.
Yeah, yeah. Well, welcome to so much of what's going on today and the craziness that we have to live in with COVID. And we're going to talk about this on another episode, but you and your staff are working virtually at home.
We starting in the middle of the March.
Yeah.
100% of my staff worked from home for the first 2 months.
Yes.
We would go in one at a time into the office to either scan documents and send them so we could work from home, or to return phone calls.
Yeah.
Really, right now, the best way to contact our office is actually through emails.
Okay.
Because we are all working remotely and live. We have access to our full emails. We don't have access to our office desk phones.
Okay.
So
wow. Well, it's and you're not unlike a lot of others
Right.
around town. In fact, I sent a note to somebody, an email this morning saying, "What's your cell number? Because I know they're not at work."
Right.
And then I found out when I called her, well, if you had called, it would have been automatically forwarded. But I didn't know that.
And that's what happens with my cell phone as well. I have
Yeah.
a county number also on my cell phone, but my desk phone forwards automatically to it. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, so literally on Friday the 14th, this is going to be mailed.
Right.
And people will start to get them on Saturday, the
Probably.
lucky ones,
Probably,
right?
yes.
And then early next week and so forth. What are we going to be looking at? Can you walk
So
us?
yeah, I just wanted to kind of walk us
Yeah.
through what the notice itself looks like. It's a postcard.
Okay.
That's folded over and tabbed.
Okay.
And we've done that rather than a letter because it's cheaper postage and cheaper printing.
Okay,
Than
okay.
if we mailed a full-size letter.
You keep, and I've said this to you before, you keep, every time I talk to you, you've told me a way that you're saving money and doing things more efficiently with your office and your staff and everything else. We don't always see that in elected or bureaucrats. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. I don't appreciate the bureaucrat label.
No,
but
but you know what I mean.
I do. You know, my wife and I have struggled on a budget for years and years. We had 4 daughters that we raised.
Oh, Lord.
We've had to be very careful with money.
Yeah.
And I think that mindset has continued on now into the office. It's,
But it's so
not
great.
my money now that I'm spending. It's the people's money, which makes it even more important.
But it's so great to see that in government.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of the opposite across the country.
The $15,000 hammers and things like that. Yes.
Something like that. Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
anyway, we're going to send you a postcard in the mail.
Yep.
The top part of the outside cover will list your name.
Okay.
And then the address.
Okay.
Just please double check that to make sure all of that's correct.
Okay.
If not, get a hold of our office. We can surely get that part of those things
Okay.
fixed. The backside of still on the outside on the outside.
Right.
Will list the parcel number, the actual address of the property, because some people own multiple properties.
Right.
So they aren't, the name on the from the address is not necessarily the name of the property.
Exactly.
The
So
address
some
of the property
folks
we're looking at.
Some folks may get several.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And when we do more than 3, we combine them into a letter because it's then cheaper again to do the letter
I love
for 3
it.
or more.
Yeah.
Some of the major property owners that have dozens and
Yes,
dozens,
sure.
if not more.
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we've got that. We've got a little legal description that kind of helps describe what your property is.
Okay.
Below that, we talk about the current use assessments. And that current use is pertaining to mostly farmland
Okay.
and timberland exemptions
Okay.
that are available to people given enough size of property and the fact that if they're really farming the property and things
Right,
to that effect. The other thing that we have on listed on the outside of the card is about the senior and disabled persons exemptions.
Yes, talk about
And that is to try to enable those of us, Kent, who
Yes.
are older, that may be taxed out of our property
Yes.
because our income isn't increasing.
Usually
as
it's
it did.
flat.
It is exactly right.
Yeah.
So if you earn $40,000 or less
Okay.
for the household, not just yourself, but for your whole household.
Okay.
So if there's 2 of you,
Right.
still $40,000, you can get a reduction in the property taxes you have to pay.
Oh, okay.
And it's based on a sliding scale depending on what your
income
is. And it
Okay.
also applies to 100% disabled veterans.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So
I love that.
It really is it's a great program. And,
Yeah.
and the intent of it, again, is to try to enable people to remain in their house and not get taxed out of it.
Again, if people, when they get this, have questions, they can call, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you open up the card, one of the things that's on there is there will be an email address for your appraiser.
Okay, yes.
That'll take you straight to there, and that really is the best way to get a
Okay,
hold of them.
right, I forget, right,
because
rather
of the
than
phone.
calling, yes.
But also on there is their phone, the appraiser's phone number for your specific property.
Okay.
And so give us a couple, 3 days
Yes.
to return your call, but we could also
Especially right after Friday.
Especially right after the notices go out. But yeah, we can talk to you both about your value of your property and then also getting you in touch with our exemption department
Okay.
if you feel that you qualify.
Right.
Of course, those applications are also online, like everything else nowadays.
yes.
So if you think that that's a program, either the current use or the senior disabled exemption, go ahead and look online and take a peek through it. It'll kind of walk you through it. There's a little worksheet where you can kind of estimate anyway what we would consider to be your income.
Okay.
Because we deduct things differently than the IRS does.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
Under that part, we have you have your last day to appeal. You have 30 days from the time we mail the notices. So,
Okay.
And appealing means
So don't stick it away for
don't
something to
stick it
do
away
during
for
the
2
holidays.
months and then holler at me.
Yeah.
If you disagree with the value that our office comes up with for your house or your property, first thing is call us.
Okay.
Discuss it. There may be something in your property that we don't know about that would affect the value.
Because
However,
you're only visiting once
every 6 years.
Every 6 years.
And we're also only doing it from the street.
Yes.
So we're not knocking on doors. We're not coming inside.
Right.
If
you may have taken a structure down in the backyard or something like that.
We're not opening gates and going in backyards.
Right.
So talk to us about the characteristics. Let's try to get that right. If you still, unfortunately with the current market going up so much, where it surprises even us in the office how much it's going up, if we still don't agree, you can appeal to the local Board of Equalization, which is a 6-member panel. Pretty much volunteers. They get a little per diem, but it barely covers their lunch. And they will sit and hear both sides' arguments. And then they will render a judgment. Whether it's for the assessor's office, for the appellant, or somewhere in between.
So that seems fair.
You've got to, and they're mostly local realtors and appraisers. So they have some experience. We've got an attorney on the board now also.
I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
So it really is a good cross section, and they're a very fair board.
Right.
And I've lost cases in front of them, and I still say they're a very fair board.
Now, do people appear in person?
You can appear in person. That is your right. We don't know quite with COVID
how
that's going to happen. We haven't had before any way to do a video. And so I know that the Board of Equalization has been working on perhaps a Zoom type thing or something to that effect. But I haven't really heard back from them yet. And those would not start until November. The hearings. So
you'll figure that out.
So we'll figure that out by then. So on here, you're going to see last year's assessed value. And then this year's assessed value. Which is what your property taxes in 2021
will be based on. Right.
So that's where you're going to see probably the 9 to 11% increase, depending on
it's now 9 to 11.
Depending on where you are, you could see more. And it does talk.
Well, it's not necessarily bad that your property value has gone
up.
Well,
your net worth has just gone up.
Yes.
Also, no, I know it. You can't realize that until you go to sell it. But for those of us who have sold a property recently, it's a pretty staggering amount, actually, how much it's gone up.
And there are communities around the country where it's gone down.
Absolutely.
Even
now.
Yes. And so, I mean, you want it to at least stay even, if not go up, not lose value, because for a lot of people, that's a lot of their savings.
Right. Well, and the nice thing with Spokane is historically, we've gone up in little steps. Yeah, the steps are a little bit bigger now, but they're still not 25, 30, 40% increases like Seattle, Las Vegas, some of these other municipalities have had. And the problem with that is when it hits the edge of the last step and falls down, there's a lot further way to fall. And so I've been in the office for 27 years. I've seen the ups and the downs. And all of them for Spokane have been more moderate stepping.
And that's true in Spokane for a lot of things. Our economy and everything else doesn't see the peaks and the valleys as deep as some other areas.
As deep as other areas do. Right.
But we're a good place to be and a good place to live right now. So we're seeing the benefit of that in terms of the effect.
Oh, absolutely.
On the
people
price.
have discovered Spokane. Because it is such a great place to be.
Right.
So the last thing on there talks about whether or not you have an exemption, because the people that already have an exemption, it would say yes. If they have a senior or disabled exemption.
Now, do they need to do anything?
If that's the case, they don't need to do anything right now. We do actually audit all our exemption people once every 6 years again. But we would send out a separate letter telling you that we just need you to send us a current income information so that
Right.
we know that you haven't won the lottery and really don't apply for or don't qualify for this program.
No, that makes
anymore.
sense.
So,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
And then again, there's the last part talks about the actual how you can contact the Board of Equalization to appeal your value.
Okay, and that's where people go.
And that is where people would
Right.
go if they can't resolve it with one of my appraisers.
Okay.
They would have to go to the Board of Equalization.
Okay, but a good explanation to, we no longer have the patio or the 3-car garage in the back. It was old, was dilapidated, we took it down. So maybe there's a less value.
The bathroom in the basement is no longer functioning,
Yeah.
so we've taken that out. Or
Okay.
yes, exactly,
Okay.
something like. Or we built a 2-car garage in the backyard we don't think you know about. So
Yeah, okay.
Those don't call us very often.
I
but-
was going to say, I'd put a lot of money on that. You don't get too many
Not
of
too
those.
many of those.
Yeah. Okay, good. What else do people need to know? I love this exemption for older people and disabled and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that enough people are taking advantage of this?
We have a little over 9,000 people in
Okay.
Spokane County,
Okay.
households that are on this program. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's been fairly well received.
Okay, good.
We've got 5 people that's their job
Yeah.
is processing these
wow.
exemptions,
Okay.
both the renewals and the new ones.
Okay.
We encourage people to call us.
Yeah.
Encourage people.
you
to
think
look
you're
into
close,
if you think
check
you're
it
close,
out.
because again, our deductions are different than the IRS's.
Yeah.
We could take all of your prescriptions off, and we can do some other things
Oh,
that maybe.
okay.
Maybe could get you below the threshold or even down to one of the lower thresholds where
Right.
you would qualify for a better exemption.
Yeah, and we don't want to push people out of their homes
No.
because they can't afford to live in a improving economic situation in their home.
Right.
You know, we don't.
Again,
I don't think there's anyone that
no,
wants that.
there's no way. My first house, we paid $19,000 for
Yeah.
it in 1979.
Yeah.
There's not a $19,000 house out in Spokane now.
Or
you
a
can't even-
garage.
you can't even buy dirt for
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So-
You can buy a lot for that
That's right.
anymore, right?
Exactly.
Wow, great.
So,
okay,
it is
so-
a great program for that.
So this is Friday, the 14th,
Right.
and things are going to be mailed out today. We'll start getting them on the weekend and Monday, and all of your staff will be glued to the phones
We're all ready.
or the emails.
Yes.
Let's encourage people to do the email.
Please, again,
Because-
on the inside of your card, it
because-
talks about the email of the appraiser
Okay.
for your specific property.
Great.
And that just would
That's
that will
really
get
helpful.
that will get the people the quickest response. If
Yes.
not, you're just going to have to be patient with us. With COVID, I can't until we get to phase 3. We can't open our office to all of my staff at a time.
Yeah, so you can't even walk
So,
around or anything.
We go in there and we run shifts,
Yeah.
but that's the best we can do. So, again, to help everybody out, if you could please reach out by email, that would be
All right.
fantastic.
Tom Konis, our assessor, thank you for doing a good job,
Thank you,
for
Ken.
being a good steward of our tax money.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. I know a lot of people I talk to who say, "Oh, yeah, Tom's a good guy." You know, it's like we need more like that.
Must have
in-
been talking to my mom. Yeah.
I think it was.
It was.
No, Tom, thank you very much.
Thank
Keep
you,
up the
Ken.
good work.
Thank you.
And all of your staff. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
because
it's the staff.
it
truly
is. It always is,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
All
it
right.
truly is. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.